And what I was feeling the need for is to get a little bit more going on Roanoke and see how our plus ones are going to contribute to that.
Right? And my analysis is I made use of the both character profile worksheets, both yours, Julianne, and yours, Deb, for working on my character Teresita. And I also made the memory prompt list cards to go along with it and how it's going to affect the story. So I'll share that with you. Okay, this is Deb's excellent worksheet of the character profile diagram broken down into all of the component character traits, starting from the most general over to the most specific, and with a review of where they might fall on the character profile diagram. So my character that I'm working with, it's the Roanoke Project, and the character is Teresita. So my starting point was this background on Teresita. Teresita is neurodivergent. She speaks and understands the link language of Lydia, but only the most literal layer of content. She reacts strongly to the rhythm and pace as a second layer of meaning. As opposed to most people being able to read between the lines, she feels the rhythm. Consequently, she understands the emotions of the speaker more clearly than the factual content. So that was my starting point. So then I began laying out what her character traits would be. And as I assigned each character trait, I made a card for it on my memory prompt list, which for me, a memory prompt list it consists of the term, and I've now added, Julianne, your notation for describing where it falls on the character profile diagram, and then the reason why it went there. So docility, a readiness to learn, is the most dominant base characteristic of Teresita. She has very open, and her emotional readiness are little understood by the people around her, but very deeply understood by the system bots, like SysClean and all the little sys chores that keep the link active and functional. They're kind of like the service providers to the link to keep the link moving and doing its thing. Teresita is very, very docile to the rhythm of the bots. The bots, being system functions, perform their jobs in very rhythmic manner. And Teresita picks up on the rhythm and the flow of that. Next, in base traits, is her sincerity. And she comes about her sincerity almost by accident. She doesn't have any concept of, well, how would you even go about being anything but sincere? She's so face value that sincerity just falls out. When it comes to the other two character traits in the insight group, we said docility is a base trait for her. Well, circumspection and foresight are pinnacle traits for her. And this is because she takes everything at face value. She doesn't have any concept of the future or really of the past either. She's totally a creature of the present tense. So she doesn't have any concept or awareness of circumspection or foresight. The same holds true of honesty and humility. Teresita has no concept of advantages or disadvantages she may have landed with, nor does she have any concept of evaluating her past behavior. So at some point, and this is story now, at some point, Teresita will come to understand the concept of past. And when this happens, this will cause her to perform her first ever self-evaluation. And that has a lot of story potential. Affability is another base character trait for Teresita. Teresita is so overly affable that many of the other characters of the story avoid her. I mean, it's just like, oh, how much of this do I have to endure? Now, when it comes to some of the character traits that are associated with bravery, Teresita has no concept of danger. So she has no perseverance, not because she might not have it. She's just, since she doesn't sense the awareness of danger, she doesn't need perseverance. It just doesn't exist for her. Patience, however, is a base trait for her. She just takes everything that is as being what is. You know, if something hurts, well, it hurts. It, she doesn't think of railing against anything. It's just what is. Now, constancy for her is our first wing trait. Um, Teresita is pretty much allowed to do as she pleases. And so whether she has constancy or not is depending a little bit on her whims. And this one is a little bit up in the air for her. And so it's going to be tested only when there arises something that she really wants to achieve. When that's where the future comes in for her. And then she's going to have to take this from the wing to the rudder to decide if she's going to achieve it. Obedience for her is base trait. When she's called upon to behave in a certain way, she drops everything and does exactly what she's told. This one could also come up. It might move away from a base trait when she gets a full awareness of past and future and goals and desires. This one could come off the base. Now, kindness is a strange one. Kindness is a rudder trait from the get-go for Teresita, and this gets us into story right away. She hasn't really noticed that there's one around her who has any need. Kindness is about responding to a need. She's affable to everyone, but she doesn't pick up on their needs in large measure because out of the fact that the link communicates everything, people are very shy about communicating their needs into the link. You know, they don't want to impose on others their needs. And so they're very subtle with expressing their neediness. And of course, that subtlety is not open. That is not something that Teresita can get to. However, there's going to be a point in time where her first act of kindness is going to be towards a system bot. And then transcendence is the big journey character trait for her. She's going to make a grand journey from pinnacle to wing to rudder in this story. And this is going to happen when she learns how to lean on
Spoilers.
to fill in for her deficiencies. So now, because we've talked a lot about story potential, we have to graduate from Deb's excellent character profile diagram to yours, Julianne. Because now this is where you can talk about the transitions that are going to take place and place them in the storyline. So that's my contribution.
Was that fun?
Oh my gosh, it was fun.
It looked like it was fun.
I learned so much by just deciding on what character traits fit her. That, you know, Deb, I'm so thankful for your diagram, and Julianne, being able to put them on the map of time. And
Wait, so you didn't write the story? You didn't?
no, that was my contribution. The story element that I wrote was that introductory piece at the bottom of the page, the starting thing, what her starting traits were.
Hmm.
And the story elements are a little too scattered to write them right now.
Yeah.
I'm kind of tending to think that when she finally, she still doesn't have the concept of deductive reasoning, so she isn't going to use all that extra mental power to suddenly be able to reason. she's going to expand her capabilities of her strong suit, which is her empathy. But in the process, others will and of course, that's going to be vital for what the other people have to do to make something happen in the story.